Welcome to another episode of the Sun Foundation's virtual Clean Water celebration, Clean Water Champions. Our field trip today travels down the Illinois River, through the piping and plumbing of Illinois American Water, and into your house and your tap and the water you drink. Where does that water come from? What are the steps necessary to ensure good, safe, clean drinking water? Let's go and visit the Illinois American Water Filtration Plant.
Hi there, and welcome to Illinois American Water. My name is Pam Godey, and I am one of the water quality leads here for Illinois. I'd like to welcome you today to take a tour of our treatment facility and learn how we bring the river to your tap. Where we're standing right now is the original treatment plant facility when we originally just used groundwater. It was built around 1890 with the Romanesque idea. On each corner, facing both or all north, south, east, and west, is a gargoyle. So currently, this building is used as a museum. We have several archives in there of the old way of treatment, old testing ideas, and even old water mains made out of wood. Here in the Peoria district, the customers are supplied with approximately 20 million gallons a day of water. That water comes from 4 major plants in the Peoria district. We have the river plant here down on the Illinois River, and then we have 3 other just groundwater plants. The focus today is going to be the treatment on the river plant because compared to groundwater sources, there's a lot more treatment that's needed to clean up that river water and make it safe drinking water. So when you're standing at the Illinois River here at our treatment plant, from this plant directly, we average about 10 million gallons of treated water a day going to our customers out of here. Seems like a lot, but as you stand there on the river, approximately 10 million gallons flows by every 10 seconds. So a drop out of that river is what we are treating here today. Taking you through the process of our treatment, this is a little micro scale of how we do that. So our first step in the treatment process obviously is grabbing the raw river straight from the Illinois River. As you can see, it doesn't look so appetizing. It's got a little bit of dirt and sediment and what we call turbidity. Turbidity, a quick definition of that is how well can you see through it? So as I look down in this river, I'm looking down, I'm looking through, the light is not shining through the best. Luckily, here on the Illinois River, we don't encounter a lot of industrial contaminants and waste. Our primary issue here is soil erosion, creating this higher turbidity, basically caused by dirt. So our first step right out of the river to help clean up that river water is to remove those dirt particles. That process is called flocculation. In flocculation, we actually add a chemical, fancy name, called aluminum chlorohydrate polymer blend. And it's just a fancy word for a chemical that makes those negatively charged dirt particles want to stick together and party together. When we add that flocculation chemical, we stir it, get that all mixed up so it can contact as much dirt particles as possible. From there, we send it to the sedimentation basin. And in the sedimentation basin, you can see, basically we just stop stirring it. And we let all that dirt that has been become larger, heavier, we let it sink to the bottom of these huge basins. Each of those sedimentation basins are approximately 2.1 million gallons. What we do next is we take that clear part of water off the top. The name for that is a supernatant. And that water itself is piped over to large filtration devices that we have. What we have at this river plant is called Gravimetric Filters, and they are GAC filters, granular activated carbon. So that clear part of the water can come off and goes through our filters. We have 7 large filters about the size of what you would say like a large hotel swimming pool, but they're a couple stories deep, and what they consist of is a little example here. They consist of about 30 inches of carbon, that granular activated carbon on top, And the filter bed itself consists of various sizes of sand, gravel, rock, and stone. And what that does is gives us the final level of filtration. As you can see, the river, dirty, it can start at a turbidity unit anywhere from 5 turbidity units to 200. The flocculation and sedimentation process brings that level of river turbidity, no matter what level, down to below a 1 turbidity unit. And that cleans it up pretty well, but again, we need to do a little bit more final so that our turbidity is below a 0.3 turbidity unit. And this filtration and those filters I spoke about is how we achieve that final compliance. The granular activated carbon on top also serves another purpose. It gets rid of taste, odors, contaminants that might be coming down the river, some bacteria, a little bit of viruses, and it does that because it's capturing the last part of the dirt particles that could be holding those viruses and bacteria. And now that we're out of that filtration process, we do have our final water here, which you can see compared to the river is very clear, very low detectable turbidity. We know now that we have achieved our turbidity compliance, but it's not quite safe to drink. We still need to add a disinfectant to ensure that all viruses and bacteria are not in that water. So before we add our disinfectant of chlorine, because this is a surface water, we need to put it through our UV or ultraviolet light reactors. What those reactors do is they take the DNA of the viruses and they damage it. And by damaging the DNA on those viruses, it does not allow the viruses to reproduce in a host. In this case, the host would be us humans, and make us sick. The UV is great. It gets rid of those viruses, but the problem is it is not a disinfectant that will stay from the plant to your home. So what we do from there is we add a chemical called chlorine. Here in Peoria, we add what's called combined chlorine. Another term for that is chloramines. And what that does is chlorine by itself kind of wants to party with other things. The term for that is volatile. So it wants to go out, hang out with other people. So it goes away pretty fast. In order to keep that chlorine stable and not wanting to go out and party so much and get out of the water, we combine it with just a little bit of ammonia that stabilizes the chlorine, makes it happy, and it keeps that chlorine in the water further and further distances out into our system so that it stays in the water all the way to your home. After that, we do have 2 more chemicals that we add. We add fluoride, and that is to help prevent gum disease, cavities, tooth decay. Same type of concept that you would find in your toothpaste. And the last chemical we add is very important to prevent corrosion in the pipes. And that is a corrosion inhibitor that is also called an orthophosphate. That orthophosphate coats the pipes. It is our pipes that are transmitting the water to your home and your own internal plumbing. It helps prevent the metal leaching from those pipes into the water. So that is the final step of our treatment process here at the river plant. And you may think to yourself, okay, you've added all these chemicals. It's safe to drink. That's all you have to do. It is, but we can't just send it out and be like, oh, good luck, I hope it's safe. There is testing going on 24/7 at this treatment plant. We run dozens of tests a day, hundreds of tests a week, thousands of tests a year, testing the treated water. From there, we also go out into our distribution system, so to different people's houses, different facilities, and we take water samples. This little gadget here is actually an analytical apparatus. It's something we can take out in the field with us, not being tied to an outlet or a big piece of machinery that we can't lug around. So even though it may seem like an endless resource, water is never an endless resource. What we encourage you to do, little things at home. Turn the faucet off when you're brushing your teeth, and drink a glass of water and you don't finish it. You realize it's still sitting there the next day. Don't pour it down the drain. Go put it on one of your plants outside instead. Important thing about watering flowers, encourage, the use of rain barrels. That is a very important part of regenerating that naturally occurring water and putting it back into the ground. Another important part is planting native. Make sure that you are planting flowers and landscaping according to our Illinois climate, so that you don't have to overwater flowers. They're used to our droughts, our floods, and all that. That's a crucial part of playing your part in the water treatment process.
Wow! I learned a lot about how water from the river gets cleaned before it gets into your tap. But I especially liked what Pam had to say at the end. What can we do to make a difference? Conserving water. Turning off the faucet while you're brushing teeth is only the beginning. Think about your water usage, and by reducing that usage, you reduce the amount of water that needs to be filtered and then run through the sewage plant. Simply conserving water makes a huge difference. And in this way, you too can be a clean water champion.